Everybody, I just came back from the gym. It's Rabbi Shmuel Pollan. Welcome back. And I was at the gym, and that gives you a lot of time to think because you have to wait between sets. So I was thinking that everybody's thinking is backwards. This is a huge problem that if we could solve, it would change the world completely. And if we want to bring heaven down to earth and make this world into a paradise the way it's meant to be, the way it was always meant to be before Adam and Eve sinned, people need to stop thinking the way they're thinking and start thinking the way that I'm going to tell you. Because the current thinking is a satanic way of thinking, actually. And you saw the video probably about what's satanic and what's not. Well, the way we're thinking is satanic, and we're always thinking what? We're thinking, I like this, or I don't like this. I'm good, or I'm bad. Now, what's the common denominator of all these statements? The word I. You're totally focused on yourself. You're focused on the I. I'm good, I'm bad, I like this, I don't like this. Focusing on yourself is a satanic way of thinking because you will never get to experience true bliss. You will never get to experience true joyfulness like you can with the godly way of thinking. And what is the godly way of thinking? The godly way is to say everything is just perfect. You assume that it's perfect because you believe in God and God is perfect. So you know this moment and yourself and everything is absolutely perfect. And there's never been a moment more perfect than this one that I'm experiencing right now. Then you go back. See, this is why it's backwards. You got to go back now and justify it and say, this is what I like about it. This is what I like about it. And you're always going for the positive. You're always, using your justification powers to bring awareness to the fact that it's perfect, to make the fact that it's perfect make sense. So you're always looking for evidence and justification. What can I see? What can I do to make this the perfect moment of all time? That's the way you're supposed to be thinking. In this way, you'll always be happy and all your moments will always be perfect. You just need to justify it to yourself. One way you can justify it for yourself is like, how could this be a little game for me, a little competition? So how patient can I be? I'm like in front of Mr. Miyagi and I got to be patient. How can I slow my heart rate down, my blood pressure? You can do these things with your mind, and that's what you should be doing, making things into a game all the time. A lot of things, trying to get around traffic, you're trying to weave between cars as you're going, and it's all a game. It's all really a game. If it would be an arcade game, you would play it, you would pay for it. But it's in real life, so it's an even better arcade game because it's like virtual reality, but it's actual reality. Also think, how can I use this as a lesson for me to become more awesome later on? So if you dropped a weight and the manager came and yelled at you, and that's really embarrassing. However, that's a lesson that you can take with you from now on, and you'll never drop a weight again, and you'll become a more awesome human being. Finally, is there a story here? The story of the manager coming down to yell at you is a story. When it comes to things that are negative, they're not just negative, they're also a story, and that makes them positive. You turn a negative into a positive when you look at it as a story or a play or a movie and be like, this was really dramatic. He came over to me, I was really embarrassed, and then I did it again, I didn't do it again. It's a story of going low and going high and then being shot down and then having a moment of triumph. Everything that happens is a story. So you can look at anything as a game, a lesson, or a story. It's always possible. Nothing is purely negative. Everything can be turned around using those three lenses, is what they call them. So assume it's good, then justify that it is good. And it can be any justification. Even if you're not using my lesson, game, story, lenses, you can just make up any silly reason in the world that it's perfect. Just use your mind to convince yourself that it's perfect, and you will come up with something, some sort of ridiculous idea why it's perfect. I leave it up to you what you will come up with. The other godly thought that will bring you tremendous happiness and bliss even is, how can I be of service to someone else that's around me or be service to God? Being service to other people puts you in this whole mode where you're not focused on yourself, and focusing on yourself is like the worst thing to do. You have to get dressed and work out and you have to, do your job, but to spend your time focusing on yourself, even if you're in a job, you got to focus on, how can I please my boss? How can I make him happy? How can I make my coworkers happy? What can I do to give them a lift? What can I do to give them a compliment? So that will lead to great happiness if you just turn things around And I wish you joyful lives that in which everything is perfect and you know that it's perfect, and then everything will go perfect. And when the Messiah comes, he will improve the conditions of the world, so it will be easier and easier to see how it's perfect. May the Messiah come immediately and bring heaven down to earth.